Good evening, I'm Taylor Thomas with a CTV News update. All eyes are on South Florida this afternoon as the Sunshine State braces for Hurricane Ian. Residents in parts of Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties are dealing with power outages. The powerful storm made landfall earlier this afternoon between Naples and Fort Myers. Now, we spoke to Orlando reporter Monica Mays, who says she is dealing with rain and strong winds right now. But a big issue is for those residents who chose to ride out the storm. She said once winds get up to 35 miles per hour, power companies and first responders will not be able to come out and assist residents.
What happens now for those who choose to, there are over 200 shelters that are open throughout Orange, which is Orlando, Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties. Those are the ones that are in our tri-area that are expected to be hit the worst. Many of them have lifted their no pet restrictions and are allowing you to come in. So all you need is your bedding and your medicine.
Parts of South Florida could see a catastrophic storm surge as high as 18 feet. Central Florida is under a tornado watch until 5 this evening. FEMA is prepared to assist residents as soon as it's safe to move around the region. Prince George's County is often referred to as the crown jewel of Maryland. And to keep it looking that way, officials have announced a new beautification campaign. Byron Scott has our story.
The county's latest beautification effort, says Paulette Jones of the Department of Transportation and Public Works, is unprecedented.
Because we normally, or in the past, we have mowed our primary arterial roads once every 2 weeks. We are now mowing, picking up litter on our primary arterial roads twice every week. We have basically quadrupled our efforts.
Mechanical mowers chew into overgrown grass and weeds. A street sweeper eats an unfortunate but healthy supply of litter from the roadways. This latest iteration of the litter and mowing blitz got underway about 2 weeks ago.
We have a concentrated effort this week in the south portion of the county, Fort Washington, Suitland, Upper Marlboro. But our guys are moving so fast that, you know, we're here today on Lotsford Road, but we're throughout the whole county. This is a county-wide effort.
The good news, crews are picking up litter. The bad news, people are putting it there.
As a county, we're going to do our part, but we're also asking our residents to please not to litter. Just within a 2-week period, we have picked up over 15 tons of litter, just in a 2-week period.
And that's not all. Listen to this. So far, 67 crews have mowed 354 linear miles of road, filled 1,400 trash bags, and swept 75 miles of road.
So we expect those numbers to be extremely high once we're done.
County officials again are asking residents to stop littering. As for the beautification blitz, it continues through the end of the year, just in time for another reality.
By then, that 4-letter word will probably come up that I don't really want to talk about, but snow. And so in the interim, we're out here, we're picking up and we're cutting.
Byron Scott, CTV News.
The county is inviting people to help out. It's hosting a Grow Green with Pride Day on Saturday, October the 15th from 8 till noon. To register and to find out about the locations, go to the website right there on your screen. Bowie Mayor Tim Adams joins the President and First Lady to celebrate the Americans with Disabilities Act and mark Disability Pride Month. Adams spoke about how the ADA was a lifeline for him.
The American with Disabilities Act was a lifeline for me and others like me. By codifying the right to equal opportunities, independence, and economic self-sufficiency, it ensured that I could still open doors or move down the sidewalk on my own.
Americans simply wasn't built for all Americans, but we changed that. And now, for 1 in 4 Americans living with disability in America, we changed the law. You know, it's the key to equality, opportunity, and independence.
It's been 32 years since President George H.W. Bush signed the Americans with Disabilities Act into law. All right, well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The Maryland Department of Health has confirmed 889 new cases. The county's positivity rate is at 8.86%. 10 Marylanders have died of COVID over the past 24 hours, and 444 people are hospitalized. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Back in a moment.
This is my house. My parents helped build it. Now we don't get wet when it rains. I don't get too hot or too cold inside. I can play with my sister, I can play with my brother, I can play with my mother, my father, my family. This is my house.
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 Visit Habitat.org to find out how you can help more families like mine.
Good evening and welcome back. Take a look at your screen right now. This is a picture of a target at a shooting range in Cumberland County, Maryland, that has prompted a Maryland State Police investigation. Now, according to the Baltimore Sun, the shooting range is used by a number of law enforcement agencies and the public. State Police launched a probe following a September 16th complaint. The advocacy group CARE says the target alienates minority officers and depicts people of color as enemies. A settlement is reached in a disability discrimination lawsuit against a developer that has numerous properties in Prince George's. The U.S. Attorney's Office says developer Stavro Associates has agreed to pay $185,000. The fund will be used to settle claims that the company violated the Fair Housing Act and the Americans with Disabilities Act. The lawsuit claims that developers failed to build 11 multifamily housing complexes in Maryland with the required accessibility features for people with disabilities. 5 of them are owned by Stavro, including the acclaimed At Lake Largo Apartments in Largo. Reducing domestic violence here in Prince George's County is a major issue for State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy. This weekend, she is set to kick off her 3rd annual Purple Bike Ride for Domestic Violence Awareness and Prevention with a few hundred people. Braveboy says everyone benefits from participating.
Knowing that you can play a role in helping to protect your neighbor. I mean, that is so important to know, because by participating in this ride, you'll be bringing awareness, you'll be helping to raise funds, and really maybe even encouraging someone to come forward.
The ride will take place at Fairwood Park in Bowie from 8 a.m. till noon. It'll include food, music, vendors, and resources for those in need. In the event of rain, it will be rescheduled. A D.C. man is in custody charged with the fatal shooting of a Prince George's man back in June. Here's the suspect, 24-year-old Trayvon Ingram. He faces second-degree murder charges in connection with the death of 29-year-old D'Angelo Johnson of Clinton. It happened on June 19th, just after 9 a.m. on that night in the 8200 block of Bellefonte Lane. The victim was found outside suffering from gunshot wounds. He died a short time later. Investigators say the 2 men knew each other. The motive is still unclear. Delegate Darrell Barnes resigns as chair of the Legislative Black Caucus of Maryland. The Prince George's lawmaker plans to pass the torch on in December. New leadership will be in place when the 2023 General Assembly session begins in January. Barnes chaired the caucus for 5.5 years. He submitted his resignation letter on Monday. A female inmate who said she was left alone in her jail cell to give birth files a federal lawsuit. Jasmine Valentine says her rights were violated under state law and the Constitution. She alleges nurses at the Washington County Jail in Hagerstown ignored her screams and pleas for 6 hours. The lawsuit also says because of unsanitary conditions, the baby developed a staph bacterial infection that is resistant to antibiotics. And we'll be back with more stories in just a moment. Stay with us.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A construction update for the new Sonia Sotomayor Middle School in Adelphi is postponed. The school board voted earlier this month to name the middle school after the first Latina U.S. Supreme Court judge. The board had previously voted in April to name the Adelphi Middle School, but changed it to reflect the student body, which is 90% Latino. Councilmember Denny Taveras says it was the right thing to do, and it coincided with Hispanic Heritage Month.
We named it during Hispanic Heritage Month, which means that there's a lot of significance, to me at least, that we are seen, that we are recognized. The majority of the student body is Latino, and this is somebody that they can identify with because it's somebody that they know. It's in the Supreme Court and will be responsible for passing laws regarding immigration, regarding women's rights, so many things. And so imagine what that could mean for almost 40% of the student body of PGCPS.
The construction update, which was scheduled for last night, will be rescheduled in October. Maryland phone users, get ready. The state just issued a new area code number. The Maryland Public Service Commission announced that 227 will be the new area code for the state. The agency says the available phone numbers with area codes 301 and 240 are running low. Those numbers are expected to be exhausted by the second quarter of 2023. Athletes now have a new guide to help them manage life and sports at the college level. DMV native and former athlete Brianna DeBow has a book entitled ABCs of College Athletics. CTV's Laurencia Moten has the story.
Well, college is back in session, which means college athletes are competing again. College athletics is often a chapter of life that many youth cannot fully prepare for. For many athletes, college alone can be difficult. Add on practice and games, dealing with teammates and coaches. And former athletes like myself aren't always fully aware of what happens ahead after college. But now there's an answer. The ABCs of College Athletics book, written by Brianna DeBow. Her book uses the alphabet to explain key components of college sports. And I had the pleasure of sitting down and talking to Brianna, and during our chat, she explained who this book is truly intended for.
For those that are getting recruited, thinking about becoming a college athlete, whether that's D1, D2, D3, NAIA, there's different conferences, there's different governing bodies besides the NCAA. If you want to play college sports, like, this is a perfect read for you. If you're a parent of a student athlete and you I have no clue how to support my kid through this process, this is a book for you as well. Even coaches, why aren't you having these conversations with your student athletes early and up front? That's pretty much what I wanted. I want it to be a conversation starter. I want coaches to be like, let's talk about letter C, or let's talk about letter B for business, right? Like, things that you may expect along the way, and let's start answering those questions now, or looking into this stuff, doing research. So primarily for high schoolers and their support systems, as well as college athletes who may be in the process and just think whoa, what am I doing for the rest of my life?
She uses her personal experience from being a college athlete at both Virginia Commonwealth University and American University to help student athletes today. It helps students take on the fast-paced experience of being a college athlete and gives an overview on what could be expected. And this book is not only for college athletes, but professional athletes as well.
I believe this book can help because it's not just talking about what's in the journey, or ahead of you if you're a high school athlete. It's also talking about the lack of or the impermanence of the journey itself. A lot of times when you're a student athlete, you're so focused on the permanence of it all that you don't realize how much ground you've covered, or how much you've actually accomplished, or how many transferable skills that you have. And that's something that this book highlights.
I got a copy of Brianna's book, which is available on Amazon, and I cannot wait to read it.
It's time to pull out those resumes because a local city is gearing up for a job fair. The city of Greenbelt is set to host a fall job fair on Saturday, October the 8th. The event will take place at Beltway Plaza from 10 a.m. until 1 in the afternoon. Businesses like Train ACE and the Training Source, as well as CCI Health Services, are just some of the organizations looking to hire. To register for the job fair, simply visit eventbrite.com and search City of Greenbelt. All right, that's tonight to wrap up with CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Good night.